reaching so many of you each and every week. Why don't we see if we can get people in who can help us out, have a conversation, relaxing form of conversation about getting to the next level. And so today with us, we have two wonderful ladies. You know, May is Mother's Day. So we're sticking on the ladies' theme throughout the month of May. So with us this evening, we have Steph Mondo, Head of Tech Talent Acquisition from Morgan Stanley, and of course, Hannah Ashiokai Akrong, the HR Director for Vodafone Ghana. Man, two lovely ladies I enjoy speaking to. Welcome, welcome. Well, let me start with Steph first. Welcome, Steph.
Thanks for having me. This is incredible. How can I follow that? Like, this is how I want to spend every Sunday.
Well, that's it. We hope that after today, you still find time to get back to us. A crazy bunch, but we're ready to listen to whatever you intend to tell us today. So I hope we have a wonderful evening. Ashiokai.
Hello.
Hey, how are you? What's the weather like today in Accra?
Charlie, it's hotter than the south side of hell today. It was like 42 degrees.
Extremely hot. I think the weather is cool here today as well. Not bad. Very good weather. And so we're not complaining. It's good to have both of you on. And so I'll be going ultimately from one to the other as we go through this evening's program. Let me start with Stephanie. Tell us a little bit about what you do actually.
Yeah, sure. So as Angela mentioned, I'm the head of talent acquisition for technology at Morgan Stanley. So what does that mean? Sounds very fancy, but essentially I run our campus recruiting where I spent most of my career focused on high school, college, and early career students coming into organizations like Morgan Stanley, as well as within the last year, I've ventured into the experienced professional recruiting, which is a whole different ballgame. And I've been doing that for about almost 14 months now. So it's been really awesome experience. I've been primarily in financial services. It was my first job out of graduate school. Never thought I wanted to work with college students. It was just an interesting opportunity that took me by surprise. And here I am a lot of years later, still doing it. So thanks so much for having me.
That's a nice profile. It means you're somebody we should be happy to have contact with because you definitely know what to tell us to do. I mean, when it comes to getting people through the right window, right channel to the next level. Much appreciated. Ashiokai, let me pretend I don't know who you are. So what in a nutshell, what do you do?
Okay, so I am the HR director for Vodafone Ghana, which means that I set the people agenda, the HR agenda and strategy for the OPCO in Ghana. And I work with the CEO as well and the rest of the leadership team to really set the strategy for Vodafone Ghana. So work with the CEO, report directly to her, and work very closely with the rest of the leadership team as well.
Excellent. Okay, both of you. So naturally, I mean, over the years, what we tend to hear, the job market is tough. We can't get employment or we can't really get into the field that we are looking for. And we try as parents or siblings to help out. But naturally, it's not a static industry. It seems very dynamic. Things change with time. And so the technology or the terminology we would have used or the things we're interested in back 10 years, 15 years ago would be totally different. If we put that in our resume today, it would seem stagnant. So Stephanie, when we have, oh, sorry, I keep saying Stephanie. I hope Stephanie.
It's okay, Stephanie. I answered both.
What are my guidelines? If I'm talking to a student who's a graduate, a college graduate, would it be a bit too late to start working on a decent resume?
If you have already graduated, it's never too late, but in terms of getting into campus programs or programmatic elements, it's a little bit late, right? So really when you're in university, you want to really focus on building your resume and building internship experience or experiences in networks while you're going through university to prepare you for some of the programs and the college programs where we hire, I would say, more in quantity all at once versus applying for an individual job at an individual time, which people do post-graduation or more on the experience side. But never too late, just got to get started and get everything in there so you can start applying to jobs.
Is there, I'll stick with you. One of the questions a lot of parents struggle with, my student, my child is trying to get into college now, and all eyes seem to be on Ivy League schools. Do they stand a better chance of getting into an organization like Morgan Stanley if they graduate from an Ivy League school versus a non-Ivy League school?
That's the age-old question, Angelo. I wish I could say that it didn't matter. I will tell you my viewpoint and how things have changed. But certainly having an Ivy League education opens certain doors for you. But I don't think it's by no means the be all end all. And if anything, over the last, I would say 5 years, I've seen a significant change in the industry, and certainly even from a Morgan Stanley perspective, where we know there's great talent in so many places, and we really need to diversify the types of students and the schools and the programs and different life experiences that folks have to continue to have a great and diverse organization. So I actually think we're moving away from only looking at certain schools. We have a very broad range. So does it matter? Do some companies, some industries, and some hiring managers care about that more than others? Absolutely. But I really have seen a significant change in the industry over the last 5 years.
Okay, cool. So it's not something you should feel bad about if you can't get into an Ivy League school. Opportunities are everywhere, no matter where you graduate from. Cool.
Absolutely.
Let me move into Ashiokai. It might be a little bit different. I mean, it's more than 3 universities. HBCUs and all are part of it now. But do you look out for that? Do you look out when the resumes come to you over at Vodafone? Do you look at the graduates? I mean, where they went to school? What do you look out for mainly?
Okay, so there are certain schools that we recruit from, which means that we go there to have our career fairs, etc., and that includes KNUST, University of Ghana, Ashesi, the Telecommunications University here as well. But at the end of the day, what we do is, the great thing about Vodafone is all our roles are put on our external website. So if you're looking for opportunities with Vodafone, whether you're a new grad, whether you're professional looking to get in, every role that we have available is advertised on our website. So traditionally we have what we call the Discover program, which is our intern program. And we advertised that, I think it was actually advertised like a month ago, and it closed, unfortunately, on the 30th of April. So with that, we're looking more for a GPA, and also we're looking at your resume. And don't be intimidated about you're still in school, right? This is you're just getting out of school, so don't be intimidated about wanting to have a really packed, solid resume. At that point, what we're really looking at more is what you've done while you're in school. Did you take any leadership positions? What are some of the different experiences that you had while you were in school? So don't beat yourself up too much if you don't have a solid CV with like prior work experience, etc.
On the average, via campuses, how many do you hire a year through campus versus experience, if we could put that in context?
So for experience, then you're not looking at entry-level roles. So for entry-level roles, I'm really not looking at experience at all. I'm looking at 1 GPA. I'm looking at applied thinking. I'm looking at leadership positions that you've held before in school. Unless it's not an entry-level position. If it's not, then of course the years of experience that we're hiring for will be on the job description. But we're very focused on getting, as youth into our organization. So every year I have a youth quota. So this year, I think my youth quota is about 600, which is a combination of interns, apprentices, or people that we just give opportunities for work experience so that they can come into the organization and do one thing or the other.
I missed the figure. Did you say 600?
Yep. So this year, my youth target is 600. Last year was 600 as well, even with COVID, and we managed to go way over that target as well. So
Stephanie,
it's very important for us, the youth agenda.
Okay. Stephanie, same question if I could ask. For context,
absolutely.
How many do you hire a year via campus versus experience?
Similar to Ashiokai, we are very focused on entry talent, and it's something that's really important to the organization. We hire roughly globally over 1,000 interns and full-time graduates in all of our locations, and are very focused on the entry talent as well. And I think similarly during COVID, it didn't stop. We actually saw more need, more demand, and we're able to bring folks successfully virtually into the organization.
Once you are hired, so let's focus on those who are in there. We've had occasions where you get people into an organization, and then for some reason, a lot of them just leave after a year or two. Now, I'll come back to this question is for Steph first. Once hires are on board, what programs do you have in place to retain talent?
Yeah, absolutely. So for a lot of our programs, we have, especially coming through campus and through our entry programs, we actually have built out training programs. So they range anywhere from 4 weeks to 3 months, like our technology program, where it's intensive training, both professional development and hard skills, depending on which division you're in. Certainly from a leadership standpoint, we have leadership programs, we have diversity programs, we have employee networking groups where we're really focused on connecting folks across the organization, not only in the particular division that you're hired into. There is an extreme focus on that because we know that there's a lot of opportunities out there, and talent is really interested in continuing to grow, not just within their team, but within the organization, both professionally, personally. We have a lot of online training courses and different things that you can be a part of as well. So a mix between self-directed learning as well as more formalized programs.
That's good to know. That's good to know. It's not just getting in, but we help you guys help people stay in the. Ashiokai, do you guys have the same thing with Vodafone?
Absolutely. And we pay a huge attention to, especially grads who are coming in. So for, like I mentioned, the Discover program, which is those who are coming fresh out of uni and coming in. So we have them do different rotations in different divisions. So you may do 6 months with, let's say, the marketing department, and then the next 6 months you are in customer experience. And so the 2 years really gives you an opportunity to, that's what we call it, discover, to really discover yourself and find where your best fit is. And then after that, we have the Columbus program, which we take the best of the best and then send them to various opcos across the globe with Vodafone. So you may end up, I have grads now in the UK, in Germany, Italy, etc., South Africa. And aside from that, those who get to stay in Ghana have opportunities to work on various projects. We give them mentors who ensure that they are on a fast track to different managerial positions with the company, etc. You asked about, losing some of these people after they start like a year, etc.
Yep.
Because these programs are so competitive, like I'll give you an example. So last year's Discover intake, we had about 2,200 resumes, and we're just looking for 15 people. So by the time you go through the assessments,
you got 2,200 and you're looking for just 15?
Yes, for the Discover grad program, we're looking for just 15, and usually it's above 2,000. So these are literally the best of the best, and every organization is chasing them. So I lost a couple who went back to school. They decided they wanted to do the masters, and then there was one this year who got an offer with Morgan Stanley in the UK. So they, literally relocated him and his family to
Steph
the UK.
recruited from you.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I promise it's okay. That wasn't me that did that.
It was you, Steph.
That's all right. We gotta keep top talent in all of our organizations.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Exactly. These people are really bright.
And they always circle back.
So what this is a question I'm picking up from Zoom. What have you done? And I'll ask both of you. I'll start with Stephanie on this one. What have you done to adapt your training given the current COVID environment? Things have changed.
Oh, yeah.
Things have changed. I don't think I've ever looked at myself as much as I have in the last year from being on video so much. So things have certainly changed. What we've done is, last year, COVID hit right before our intern programs were starting. And it was really tough thinking through, like, how are we going to deliver the content? How are we going to make sure? How are we going to replicate training and development and networking without being physically present? So we really spent a lot of time thinking about a robust plan in terms of what are we doing before the program gets started to be able to build those connections and do it in a more informal setting and try to capture some of that networking and relationship building before the program actually started to help put interns at ease, and also hiring managers who were doing this really for the first time, and managers and mentors. So we established those relationships first before getting into the intern program. And then really it was a mix of trying to do quick hits in terms of training and content. To be honest, I think our content probably got a lot better because we had to be a lot more thoughtful around who we were putting in front of presentations, how long we were doing the duration of presentations. So really a mix of education, what do we really need to be doing, really being thoughtful around who we had training, and making sure that there was not too much time where you're spending completely focused on looking at a Zoom camera all day, because obviously that's taxing. I think the other thing that we really incorporated in and spent a lot of time on was personal well-being and carving out time for being able to step away from the computer, or again, some people are parents or have other things going on while they're at home, or maybe don't have the best work set up. So those were things we were very focused on as well throughout the duration of the program.
Ashiokai, what about in Ghana? A little more challenging?
With the training, actually, no. So we had been set up really, we have what we call Vodafone University. And so all our training, everything is on there. And it's literally a university where you can get certifications, you can get, and so, for example, for the grads, we pay specific attention to them because, like I said, when they come in, they don't have, experience. And so I can take somebody who has a marketing background and put them in my fintech department, which means that I am in charge of training, or we're in charge of, training them, giving them the skills that they need. And so for last year, we identified 14 skills that are very essential for us as a telco going into the future. And these include AI, robotics, fintech, cybersecurity, etc. And so we have all these courses which are, on Vodafone University. And so your manager assigns you in collaboration with the L&D department. So you get assigned all these courses that you have to take. And then you get to work on different projects with different teams that give you the necessary experience that you need as well. So, and all of these have been virtual. I mean, literally everything. I mean, we've been working from home since the 1st of March last year. And so our recruiting, our onboarding, training, everything has been virtual, which I feel a little sad about the grads last year because there's something to be said for actually meeting your team and that experience where you can just pull your chair over to the next person and ask them a quick question, right? Exactly. But now it's even more important to be to have that confidence to be able to approach people and Skype them, etc.
Exactly. That personal one-on-one touch that we miss so much at a time like this. We're speaking with Ashiokai Akrong, HR Director of Vodafone Ghana, and Ms. Steph Mondo, Head of Tech Talent Acquisition, Morgan Stanley, USA. Now, let me ask this. We are raising kids who are, in the virtual world 100%. How much, or do hiring managers cruise the social media side of our kids? The stuff that you see, does it really affect them? Do you in the first place? And then how much does it affect them? I'll start with Steph.
I'm going to say what my mom told me when I was growing up. If you put it in writing, you can never deny what you said. So, social media is important. We live in a digital world. I think that is part of your persona out there, right? So what is on social media is fair game. If you're putting something that is inappropriate or not in line with the firm's culture, or, doing something that you shouldn't be doing or what have you, folks can judge you on that. And that may impact your employment, certainly. Is it, do we do that for everyone? No, but you never know what you're putting out there. So you want to make sure, just like you would with anything else, you want to make sure that you're maintaining professional, use the LinkedIn's or whatever site you're using for your professional persona, and for your personal, make sure it's on private, but still that is a risk you take when you're putting things out there in the universe. I think, as we know, nothing really is secret or private anymore. So I always err on the side of caution. But, definitely old school generation with technology. I think less is more. But if you put it out there, it's fair game.
Ashiokai, same with you guys?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look, there's a whole new field of people who are actually paid to scour social media platforms and let you know about your candidate, right? So that's part of the background checks. So as part of the background checks, if I'm hiring, let's say, and it's not just millennials who are entering the workforce and who are, literally spending their whole time on social media. It is with senior execs as well. I mean, now as part of the background checks, it is, we outsource that to an organization that, will scour basically your footprints on social media and ensure that you're not, being out of line.
No tweet you posted 5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Come back to her.
You're not being.
And I wish we could say it was shocking what people put out there, especially the more senior experienced individuals. But
I don't know. I feel like asking what's the worst thing you've ever seen there, but I'll leave that.
Oh my goodness, yeah. That will be after this session.
After the show.
Yes.
Ashiokai, there's a question here for you. It says, at what level do you recruit through headhunting, and what do you look out for? What do you look out for?
Okay, so it used to be a senior management and above, but now because of the kind of roles that we're looking for and the scarcity on the market, I've had to use headhunters for even junior level roles. So I have been looking for these digital architects, cybersecurity, and the talent hasn't been as forthcoming in Ghana, and so we've had to outsource those roles to headhunters. So now it's more about the I would call them the future ready roles that we're targeting. And for those, after like a month where my recruiters are not finding anything, we usually just give that to a headhunter to bring people in quickly. So, okay. I mean, I was going to say that it's one of the things that I'll tell grads is, yes, it's okay to look at the traditional careers, HR, marketing, etc. But you have to be very ready to look into these new spaces that are coming up. Like I mentioned, cybersecurity is really hot now. Social media marketing, data analytics, HR analytics, etc. So as you are doing your, the course that you're doing, but make sure that you're equipping yourself with that one more skill, digital skill as well. As it's really important. Definitely.
And I always tell friends of mine when, they get complaints about, I don't want my kids to study this medicine, to study that, to study this. Now, saying, no, it's a little different now. And the professors teach holistically, right? Yeah. Not just structured towards one target. And that's good.
Exactly.
Steph, there are a few questions on here, and it seems to have the same recurring theme. It says, can you share what your organization, Morgan Stanley, is doing to improve diversity and inclusion?
Absolutely. So we're doing a lot to focus on diversity and inclusion. Starting within the last couple of years, it's actually, while it's inherent to the organization, it has also been added to one of our core values. In terms of what we do, we look at diversity in many different ways. So from employee networking groups to special programs in terms of really focus on our diverse communities. And that is not only from the, undergraduate level or high school level. Like, for example, we've created a program with other financial services firms to focus on diverse talent at the high school level, interested in pursuing computer science and STEM going into college. So this is really in an effort to build confidence and build a community of individuals to keep going through university, not necessarily specific to one of our financial institutions, but really about giving back to the community and ensuring that we're doing our part as well. So, ranging from that level to philanthropic initiatives to we recently launched a scholarship program for students at historically Black universities. We participate in conferences, and different programs from that nature. And then certainly from an advancement and retention perspective. So we have programs focused on advancing our diverse talent throughout the organization, really making sure that we have the right mentorship and sponsorship, and something that, Morgan Stanley feels very passionate about, making sure that we are doing our part as well.
Excellent. Nicely covered. I like that. Ashiokai, let me come over to you again on this one. Recruiting from outside Ghana. I mean, I know your story. Is this something you guys focus on a lot?
Yes, for certain roles. So I mentioned the the Discover program that we have. So that's open for graduates globally. But, and of course, we're looking for Ghanaians. So when we started the program, like I said, it's a very competitive program. And some of the years we would start at the end of the program, at the end of the recruiting period, we would have about 2,000 resumes, but then we wouldn't have reached our 15 yet. And so what I said, I think starting last 2 years, was we would open it up globally. So if you are a grad or if you are going to graduate by the time that the program starts, then we're very willing to speak to you, to have you go through the process, the assessment centers. And last year we actually brought in two grads, one person from the US, one from the UK. So even at that level, it is possible. But most of our focus, if we're bringing you from outside Ghana, is on those hard to fill roles, like I said. And then, of course, senior level roles that we can't find the talent sometimes here.
Okay, that's good to know. So you still keep watching out over us. I've seen a few people asking, what's her story? I'll come back to that. But Stephanie, somebody just sent a question out there like, I've applied to an IT position in Morgan Stanley a couple of times. I know I have the qualifications, but I don't hear back from them. Several months later, I see the same positions advertised again. What could be my problem?
So what can be your problem? I think it's really a matter of, we get a lot of applications for the roles that we have open across the organization. It may be the way the resume is positioned. It may be, the hiring manager may be looking for something very specific. But what I will say is, if you are applying to Morgan Stanley and you haven't heard back and you want to have a conversation, reaching out to any of the recruiting contacts is always helpful, just to have that dialogue and establish that rapport of what may be missing for those particular roles. You now have met me, so I'll put my name out there if you have any questions. I might cry after this. I might get a lot of inbounds, hopefully not too many people not hearing back. But if you have any questions and you want to talk further, certainly happy to share my information and talk about that.
Definitely. You can reach out to Stephanie either directly via Zoom now, or just hit me up and then I'll send that information across. I think you touched on this, but I've seen a few questions about, do you guys recruit from HBCUs? I think you mentioned that, right, Steph?
Yes, we do. I think Morgan Stanley is a very large organization. We have offices and divisions all over the country, within the United States, as well as in the world. Historically, Black colleges is certainly one of our focuses, and we continue to build initiatives with those universities, among many others, focused on our diverse population. So we do recruit there. We do have some programming. We have the scholarship program as well, which covers 4 of the HBCUs. Certainly something that we continue to look at in terms of deepening our partnerships.
Cool. Ashiokai, how important is LinkedIn to you guys as an organization?
Oh, very important. So LinkedIn is one key place that we scout for talent, even for future talent, for roles that we currently don't have. And so we scout LinkedIn to find people who are in these roles that we're looking for the future. And then, so when opportunities come up, I know exactly who I'm going after. So make sure that your profile is up to date. Make sure that you're really connected on there, and you're keeping a very sharp profile on there.
Stephanie, same. LinkedIn important in the process?
Yeah, absolutely. Very important. I would say probably a little bit more important on the experience recruitment side versus the college recruitment, just because the channels are a bit different, but very similar answer.
Awesome. Okay, I'll come to Stephanie on this one. What will be your final tips you would give to people who were interested, or to people listening to be better?
Yeah, absolutely. So I had some tips prepared more for the college students, but I do believe this transcends everything.
Sure.
I think, as Ashiokai mentioned as well, staying up to date, right? Looking at those future skills, keeping your LinkedIn profile up to date, keeping those relationships alive, right? We build relationships all the time. We have big networks, and we may, just throwing your name out there and talking to people about what you're interested in, what you're looking for, could lead to opportunities. And those folks will think about you later on. I know that I'm certainly been the beneficiary of that in my career, of just putting it out into the universe and someone saying, hey, you said you were interested in this. There's this role open, or there's this manager I think you would really get along with. You might want to apply for this opportunity. I think that's a great way to do that. I think be open. Sometimes the path doesn't always look the way that you want it to be, right? And be open to those opportunities. It may not be exactly where you want to be, but that might be the stepping stone to what that next job is or where you want to go. Or you might be pleasantly surprised in terms of, hey, I never knew I wanted to do this, but I love it. And I'm so happy that I'm doing it. I'd say be authentic. I think authenticity goes a really long way. Certainly working hard, I think that goes without saying. I think you want to have a little fun in it all, because if not, why are we doing it? And then I would just say, lastly, don't get discouraged. You're going to get there. Again, it doesn't always look the way you think it's going to look, but if I had $1 for every time that I was told no, or the job I didn't get, or something that didn't happen the way I wanted it to, I think it's very easy to be discouraged. Just keep going; it will happen.
Excellent. One more thing along this line. There's been a lot of discussion about some of the big companies, and I'll probably rope Morgan Stanley in there with work life, number of hours that you guys put in. So many long hours that sometimes it affects family life. The balance, has that improved over the years?
That's a great question. I mean, I definitely think it's something that we're focused on. I think there's some jobs that require a different, I would say, hours in the days worked, but it's really up to us. And it's something that Morgan Stanley takes very seriously, as I think every company is starting to focus on more and more. People want work-life balance. What that looks like, though, is different for everyone. So my work-life balance might mean I'm working 15 hours a day, but I need to step out for 3 hours in the middle of the day because I need to do something that's really important. Sometimes I'm working longer hours than others, but it's really left to me to figure out what that looks like as long as I'm getting my work done. And it's something that we talk about all the time. I think us as individuals, and I'm probably not the best example because sometimes I don't practice what I preach, but I feel very strongly about it for my team and for people that I work with, is you have to take the time, and there's always going to be more to do. You have to take the time for yourself and what's important to you, because that's all about bringing your whole self to work and being a person outside of work as well.
So Ashiokai, is it 9 to 5 at Vodafone? Also, I know sometimes your hours are insane as well. So 9 to 5 won't really cut it for certain positions, right?
No. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. But I mean, we're trying very hard to ensure that people have that balance as well, and that they can take time to do, healthy activities as well. But trust me, when you come in, it's really, really difficult, I'm sure, in the beginning for these grads who come in and expect that, I'm going to put in my 7 hours, 8 hours, and that's it. But it's really not.
You don't get a 2-hour lunch break? No 2-hour lunch break and get to go to the gym early?
Yeah, exactly. So people come in with all these, it doesn't, especially in the beginning. I mean, because you really want to make a good impression, and there's just so much that's thrown at you. So it's definitely not a 9 to 5.
Steph, if you could answer this with a yes or no, I'll be happy. Referrals.
Should I be nervous?
Are important when hiring. Yes or no?
I think anytime you have a connection at the firm, it is certainly something that helps open doors. But is it the be all end all? Absolutely not.
So do my position is limited if I don't have any connection to anybody at a relevant company?
No, I wouldn't say that. It's just about making a connection point, right? So it's someone who's pointing you in the right direction. You might be talking to a certain group because of that connection, but it's not. There are many folks that have connections that are also not having the same opportunity. So I don't think that it's the be all end all. So
at the moment, the hundreds of us who have a connection with Stephanie Mondo of Morgan Stanley do stand a slight opportunity of guiding our kids in the right direction, right? or another thing, even before you touch on that, internships after high school, too early?
Not at all. I think as the industry has moved and there's more opportunities younger and younger for talent, there may be high school opportunities. So for example, Morgan Stanley, we do have high school opportunities in particular in our technology division. So if there are opportunities that students are interested, certainly encourage that. And I think it really is dependent on industry and company. If they provide those opportunities, it's typically more around the sophomore or junior year, second, third year in university, but there are programs and different things. So maybe it's a shortened internship or it's a day long kind of programming or a couple day programming. I think those are great opportunities to learn about what companies do, right? I mean,
Right.
there's people that have worked at companies for 10 years and probably couldn't articulate exactly what it is that they're doing or what the company does.
Precisely.
So I think it's just great for young talent to start early and to learn what they might be interested in, because there's so much to choose from.
Ashiokai, I mean, the same with you. It's at least
Oh, yeah.
when we were in school, the old system, I don't think the way we really had those
No.
opportunities, internships and stuff like that. Do you guys
Yeah.
do that now?
Oh, yes, we do. So we take people in to do, we call them apprenticeships. So they come in to do apprenticeships, and especially in our digital side. So we have, we put them, now at the moment I have a bunch of data analytics people, developers, etc. And I just hired some apprentices who would be working with those teams as well. We focus a lot on STEM and focus a lot on girls, getting girls into, you know, some of these engineering roles, some of these data analytics roles, etc. So a lot of the girls who are coming in, who are doing STEM in school, we want to promote that. And so we get them into the organization.
Okay.
I would like, can I add one thing to that?
Sure.
So I know we're both speaking about programs and apprenticeships and internship programs, but there are so many organizations out there that are available for young talent. So whether it's a student group, like we're speaking about STEM, there's Girls Who Code, there's Black Girls Who Code, there's you know, NSBE SHIP focused on diverse populations in engineering. There's so many that run the gamut that are great ways to build a network of your peers, as well as, you know, gives you a lot of learnings there that help carry you into internship, into organizations. So there's a lot of ways to do that without having an internship, especially early on, that provides you those opportunities or network or learnings. So those are definitely things I would encourage you and your, you know, children to look into, because it's a great foundation for anything that you do. I wish there was more of it, quite frankly, when I was going through university, and I probably wasn't as advanced as all of your children and you all in terms of looking for those opportunities, but it's just so great to be able to have that network and bring that with you in your journey.
Absolutely. I mean, very good information out there. Ashiokai,
Yeah.
you were here in the United States, seasoned HR professional, San Francisco, Minnesota for a long time, England for a few years, back to Minneapolis, and then boom, you move over back to Ghana.
Home sweet home.
Why the move? And 3 lessons you've learned if you had to do it again. If you had to do it again, would you go? And then 3 lessons you've learned through that.
Okay, all right. Let's see, where do I start? Why the move? So in total, I think I was out of Ghana about 14 years, grad school and then working. And so at a point, I just felt like it was, look, my soul just always is in Ghana. When I was in the US, I would come to Ghana at least 3 times every year. My sister was then working with Ghana, so, I mean, standby tickets, just say. So I would be in Ghana literally about 3 times a year. And I missed family. And then after I had OT, my daughter, it was very important for me that, you know, she had, you know, her cousins around her, she had her grandparents, etc. So when the opportunity, and for me, I was very fortunate. And so just around the time that I had started kind of thinking about, you know, coming back home, I got a call from a recruiter who had seen my profile on LinkedIn and asked if I would be open to considering an HR director opportunity that had come up with Vodafone Ghana. And I said, yeah, I mean, tell me more. So, you know, we had conversation. It all happened very quickly. So literally in 2 weeks, I had spoken to the recruiter. Everything was, you know, virtual, spoken with the team in the UK, where our headquarters is. And they flew me into to London to meet with the CHRO and the senior leaders. And then I flew back to Minneapolis. I think I got to Minneapolis on Wednesday, opened my email, and I had an offer. So then I started panicking a little bit. I was like, oh my goodness, am I really sure I want to do it? Am I really sure I want to do this? Am I doing this? But yeah, so I mean, I was working with Honeywell then. So went to speak with my boss that, yeah, I'm moving back home. He was like, to Africa? I was like, yeah, have you been to Ghana? So yes, so put in my 2 weeks, ended up, doing another extra week because there was just so much going on with work at that time. And then, yeah, so started, it's been 5 years. So moved April 1st, 2016 is when I started with Vodafone. And I mean, I can't believe it's been 5 years. So your question, would I do it all over again? Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
It
Would
was
you do
the
it over
right
again?
time for me.
3 key lessons you've learned.
3 key lessons with the move, I would say that, and I tell this to, a lot of people who ask me, hey, Charlie, I want to make the move, or Charlie, you guys are living a life in Ghana. I always say that you have to have a plan if you're planning to move back. So don't come and then be worrying about what am I going to do? What is my, trying to find a job. It's not easy. So build that network. Try to, if you've been away for a long time and haven't been, coming as much, try to, spend some time here. Take it 3 weeks a month at least, and then, meet people, get the network, put feelers out there that, you're trying to come back. And get opportunities. And the second thing I would say, let's see, 3 things. Is be open. I mean, be open to different opportunities and different experiences. I had never worked in a telco before. I mean, most of my career was in medical device, and then I moved to a Honeywell. But it's a learning curve. But I mean, pretty much you can do anything if you're really open to the opportunities. And then, I mean, I would say that, yeah, don't close any doors. Don't close any doors. I mean, just ensure that I'm still really friends with the people that I left in Medtronic, in Honeywell. So, I mean, I keep close contacts with all of them. And there are recruiters who still call me to this day and ask about opportunities back in the US. And so who knows? Never say never. I mean, it's really about
Steph will be calling you pretty soon.
That's it. Maybe we should do a swap. I've never worked internationally. It's on the bucket list.
Oh, you should give me a call.
Well, it might be similar to my last question for Steph was, so why do you enjoy this and what's next for you?
$1 million question. Why do I enjoy this? Honestly, I always wanted to do something with people and have an impact on their lives, and falling into recruiting actually happened by accident. It wasn't anything I ever thought I was going to do. I went to school for counseling psychology. I was really open to having conversations, and it fell in my lap, and I never left. I get to impact communities. I get to impact bringing young talent and now experienced talent into the organization. I get to help them with their careers. And, obviously that transcends more than just careers. It's life, it's people. There's so much more about individuals than just what they do for work. And it's something that's really important to me, and it keeps me excited every day. I get to work with fabulous colleagues. I haven't worked internationally. I have traveled to many of our offices all over the world with colleagues that have become my friends, which has been amazing. So it's just something that, it's really true to who I am, and it keeps providing me that opportunity. So I think I'll be doing it until I don't feel that way anymore.
No doubt about that. Well, it's pretty obvious that you both love what you do, and giving us the opportunity to also, spread some knowledge to our friends, spread knowledge to our kids, to people we know around. And thankfully, who knows, based on your recommendation, based on your advice, there'll be better individuals than they currently are. So it's not too late to start an internship. You should not be afraid of whatever the career is. You have an opportunity to get in there and expand your knowledge. Internal training at various companies, definitely ongoing. You have that passion and the desire to work more. Don't limit yourself. Don't tell yourself 9 to 5 is what I'm going in there for. No, it could definitely be more hours than that. And I mean, I could listen to you all afternoon or all evening long, and this has been awesome. I don't even know what to say anymore, but I know that there will be a lot more questions I'll be receiving, and I know I have permission from both of you already to send whatever extra questions we have to you. So to Ashiokai and Ashiokai Akrong, HR Director, Vodafone Ghana, I say thank you very much. And to Steph, Mondo, Tech Talent Acquisition Manager, Morgan Stanley, thank you so much. Glad to have you both on. Let's do this again sometime.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks
Thanks for
everyone.
having
Have a
us.
great evening.
All right, then. There we
Nice to
go.
meet you
Wonderful
all.
discussion from two people who I really care about and who hopefully in the time that we've spent with us have guided us in the right direction. Ashiokai Akrong, HR Director, Vodafone Ghana. Steph Mondo, Head of Tech Talent Acquisition, Morgan Stanley, USA. And to you guys, if you need anybody to run to, these are the two you can run to. Music for your quarantine feet. Back into the Afrobeat session. Any more questions, you can hit us up on the chat room, and we'll answer that definitely during the week.
Anybody will won't fight you. May they come there.